Now the other person who was also there with Maharishi that became very famous was Sri Sri Ravi Shankar.
Yes.
So how did you know him also?
Yes, we were friends, of course. And
what year was that when he joined?
Well, he was there throughout the late 70s and into the 80s. And I remember he was Maharishi's favorite Rigved Pandit. He's a Rigved Pandit by training. And he would always be around. And whenever Maharshi sat and did an inauguration or opened a celebration, he always wanted his 4 Pandits there, one from each of the Vedas, sitting with him. And Ravi was the Rigved Pandit.
Sri Sri Ravi Shankar as Rigved Pandit becomes Maharishi's favorite.
And he would be sitting with him up, with the other Shastris. He would have the Rigved Pandits and the Shastris sitting with him up on stage whenever the camera was rolling.
But at that time he wasn't Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, he was Ravi.
Ravi Shankar.
He was just Ravi Shankar.
Ravi Shankar.
Okay.
And to distinguish from Ravi Shankar, the musician.
The musician, yeah.
Whom I knew well and who came to the clinic with George Harrison. He brought him here when he was having some medical difficulties, and whom I actually instructed in TM. Right. The musician, they have the same name.
So this Ravi Shankar, the one who became Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, joined, how old was he at that time? He was a young guy.
He was a young guy, very young guy. And, just absorbing, always being with Maharshi, watching Maharshi. He was like Deepak, a very quick study. I remember once we were all in India and there were thousands of us there. And then a big wave of people went home. We were in the Indian Express building in Old Delhi, and we were having a big conference on Vedic science. And after about a month there of sitting with Maharshi day and night in one great big hall that hadn't been finished, no partitions were in there, it was a great big hall. They all went home, and then we had the whole place was covered with foam and cups and books and all Kleenex and all kinds of things like that. And so we were going to clean the whole thing out and rearrange it. And I remember Ravi came up to me and he said, and Ravi would always walk in singing and chanting with the other Pandits, usually the Upanishads, which is what they would recite, and Maharshi would walk behind them. And he said, now, this time when you rearrange the hall, make it so that Maharshi's not obliged to walk by the bathroom as he's coming into the hall. We did that, and obviously he absorbed a lot, and he,
So then he also moved on.
Yeah.
He started his own,
yeah.
Because Maharishi's big book, main book was The Science of Being and the Art of Living.
Yes.
And Ravi took the second part, The Art of Living, and started his own Art of Living.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That is the origin of Art of Living. It's the second part of Maharishi's book, The Science of Being and the Art of Living.
Yeah.
Now, so when he became Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, and he started this, which is a very thriving ashram near Bangalore and now worldwide, big place they bought in North Carolina, huge ashram, hundreds of acres.
Yeah, which was where the 1,000-headed Purusha program was before.
Oh, that was Maharishi's property.
Yeah, well, it was belonged to somebody who was a member of that program with me.
Okay.
And who built that as a place for him and his the other brahmacharis.
What was that person's name?
His name is David Kaplan, David and Earl Kaplan.
David and Earl Kaplan.
Yeah,
and they were Maharishi followers.
Yeah, and they built those facilities
as the 1,000-headed Purusha.
They were the residences for. Up above was the 1,000-headed Purusha program, and down below was the equivalent program for women, of which my wife was also a member.
And that went on, and then they sold it to the Art of Living, Sri Sri's group?
Then they sold it to the Art of Living, yeah. Yeah.
Because I think the Art of Living just bought it a few years ago.
Could be. It may have been empty for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. So Sri Sri took over a place that he was part of when he was within the Maharishi movement.
Yes.
And now, of course, there's good energy there, and it's part of his organization.
And it was built, I think the idea was it was built according to good Vastu.
Yeah.
To have a place where the Mother Divine program, these celibate women that are just focus their lives on meditation and yoga, and the men on the equivalent course would have a good environment to meditate in. I think that they found that it wasn't exactly conducive. I know that when they closed the Lancaster Clinic because it wasn't good Vastu and they moved it there, the guests didn't like the fact that they couldn't go take a walk. It's either straight down the hill or straight up the hill. So I'm not sure exactly why that facility ended up being sold to the other movement, but